Hey y'all, welcome back. We are going to use Adobe Illustrator to make a vector monster today. Eventually it's going to go on a Halloween card or something like that. So we're going to start off by opening up a new file in Adobe Illustrator. We're using CS6 today. We're going to go to File, New. We're going to call the file Monster. And we're going to make it a letter size document because at this point it really doesn't matter what size document we create. We're probably just going to end up copying and pasting this onto a new document anyways. So we're going to hit OK. The first thing that I usually do when I create illustrations like this is I usually start with eyes. It's just my favorite part of the drawing, so I like to start off with something fun. So to make the eyeballs for our monster, I'm going to use the Ellipse tool. I'm going to click and pull, holding down Shift, to make a circle that is white with a black stroke. I'm actually going to increase, once I create that circle, I'm going to increase the stroke in the control panel. By increasing the weight of the stroke, I make a thicker line around the eyeball. And I think I'm okay with the way that that looks right there. The weight is good. I also, sometimes what I'll do is I'll change in the control panel, I'll have this spot where it says uniform, and I'll change the uniformity to a different width profile, is what it's called. And I kind of like this width profile number 1. It makes the line a little offset so that it gets thinner and thicker. I don't like that it's thicker over here. I want that thickness on the bottom. You can choose to have it wherever you want it, but I kind of like the way it looks when you rotate that shape. And I'm just using the selection tool. I select it and then I hover on the corner to get this bendy arrow, and then I can rotate the shape so that that thicker part of the line is on the bottom of the circle. From here, all I need to do is make more circles using the ellipse tool, and I'm stacking those shapes on top of each other. So a smaller ellipse is going to go on top of the original, and it's going to be a colorful iris of the eye. So I'm going to want to double click on the fill color swatch at the bottom of the toolbar and select a color from the color picker. And I do not want this black stroke going around that iris, so I select the stroke color and I put a no fill in that stroke color. And then I can place that on top of the original circle. There are these nice little, you can see right now on my screen, you can see the smart guides that are showing up, so that when you actually put this on here and you move it around, it'll eventually say center. See where it says center? Right there in the middle. And that sort of centering helps you to make sure things are perfectly in the middle. And then I'm going to copy paste another circle, and that's going to be the pupil of the eyeball. I'll just talk about a quick way to do that is to copy paste, but this time I'm going to Control C to copy, or go to Edit, Copy. Control C is the key command, and then I'm going to paste this, but instead of using Control V, or instead of using Edit, Paste, I'm actually going to hit Control F. And what that does is it pastes the circle directly on top of the original circle. Then I'm going to hold down, I'm going to shrink this circle so that it's smaller than the colorful one, and I'm going to make it black. So if I make it black so that it will be a pupil, and if I hold down Shift and shrink, it's going to shrink it. It's going to keep it a perfect circle, but it's going to shrink it towards the other side of the bounding box. So if I hit Alt 2, I'm going to hold down right now with my fingers. I'm holding down Shift and Alt, and now I'm shrinking because Alt shrinks towards the center of the shape. So it keeps it centered on top of that the original circle. So now I've got a stack of circles, one circle that is white with a black outline, one that is colorful, and one that is black. If I look at eyeballs, usually illustrations of eyes and eyeballs themselves in reality have some sort of a highlight coming off of them, like the light is hitting the eyeball and it's like this white sort of circle if it's a circle light, or like a weird bended a bent sort of rectangle coming off of like a fluorescent light or something like that. So there's all kind of shapes of highlights, but just to keep it simple, I'm going to use the ellipse tool again, and I'm going to make small circles that are white. Some people like to just use one highlight. Some people like to use more than one. So I'm going to place 2 white circles, make that a little smaller. Okay, so that, just like that. Okay, and now the only thing that I'm kind of missing right now that I really wanted to add was whenever we look at eyes on like drawings of eyes or actual eyes, if we look at them up close, we can see that there's like a radial pattern going on the actual iris itself. So a radial pattern or like a starburst. So there's a star tool inside of the shape gallery that we can use to create a star. If you go to the center of the circle and you pull holding down Alt, it will start to pull out a star from that center point. Holding down or clicking on the up arrow will increase, as you're pulling out a star, will increase the amount of points on that star. And now if I keep stretching so that the armpits of the points are kind of near the edge of the pupil, holding down Control will keep that centered. It'll keep the base, the center of the star the same size, but it'll allow you to control the length of the points. So I make a star that looks like this. Of course, I need to change the color of it. Usually I pick a color that's sort of in the family of the eye color. So an analogous kind of color scheme with, like, if it's a blue eye, then I'll pick a blue or a green or a purple, or sometimes even just like a lighter or a darker version of that same color. So make it kind of subtle. And then of course that shape is on top of everything, so I need to change the arrangement of it. And to do that, I can use the selection tool and select the shape that I want to move in the arrangement, and then go to right click on it, and then I go to arrange, and I can send backwards, and you can see it goes back one step at a time. I did learn the key commands though, and I use those quite a bit. So Control left bracket right next to the letter P will go back, and then the right bracket, holding down Control, right bracket will bring it forward, back. Okay. So that's kind of how to make an eyeball. Once I have all the pieces made of an eyeball, I like to select all of the pieces by clicking and dragging to make a selection box. So I select all those pieces all at once. Or if there's a lot of other stuff going on and you want to be more strategic about like what shapes you're actually selecting at the same time, hold down Shift, click on this one, and this one, and now they're all selected. I like to right click and group so that I'll never have to do that again. And now every time I click on one piece, they all come along with it. And actually the reason why I wanted to do that in the first place was so that as I move this eyeball, it all moves together. As I shrink it or stretch it, it all shrinks or stretches together. And it's really easy now to go to Edit, Copy, or Control C, and then Paste, Control V. So I'll copy, Control Paste, Control Paste. So for a monster, you can make as many eyes as you want to. So if I was to make a three-eyed monster, there, I want this middle eye to be in the front though. Arrange, bring to front. So one more thing that I want to do, as far as the alignment goes, I want these eyes to be lined up perfectly. You can try to use the smart guides to line things up perfectly, and they sort of work. It does take a little bit of a work to get it into the right place. Another way to do that though is we've talked a little bit in class about selecting multiple objects. Again, selection tool, click and drag to make a selection box, or just click this group, hold down Shift, click this group, hold down Shift, this group, and then using the alignment tools that show up on the control panel, you can basically put a skewer through so that they're all centered by their middles, or that they're all aligned at their tops or their bottoms, so on and so forth. And then I also have this distribution options, which makes sure that they're evenly spaced. So now that they're perfectly evenly spaced and perfectly aligned. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to select all these groups. There's 3 groups now, and I'm going to group those groups. So groupception just happened. I'm good with the eyes. The next tutorial is going to be more about the body of this monster. Then we'll have another tutorial that talks about the mouth, and then probably another tutorial where we add some details to the body, maybe some horns or some tentacles like octopus tentacles or something like that. So this is going to be fun. Thank you for watching.